Okay, welcome to episode 2 of the Flat Foot Fix, the big triple F. Now, last time I talked to you guys about setting the arch, the simplest thing, the simplest way you could start fixing your flat feet. Today, I'm gonna show you guys another exercise that's gonna build on that. Okay, we're gonna kick it up a notch. A very small notch, but a notch nonetheless. And let's just get right into it. All right, before I show you the exercise, I need to make sure I define some terms first, which we'll probably be using for the rest of this series. What we're gonna talk about today is pronation and supination. If you've ever taken a basic physiology, anatomy and physiology class, you probably know that the arm supinates, right? The forearm can supinate. You can supinate it or you can pronate it. That's what that means there. However, what they don't actually teach you, as far as I remember, in introductory physio classes, is that the ankle can also pronate and supinate. So when we're talking about feet, pronation and supination are two functions of the foot that are involved in gait when you walk. So in a normal gait, in a normal step, you usually supinate first and then pronate to push off your big toe. And what that means is when you supinate, essentially the weight moves to the outside of the foot and the ankle comes out slightly as well. And then when you pronate, the ankle comes in and you're able to have distribute your weight onto your the arch of your foot so you can push off of it. However, in flat-footed people, the arch, remember, is collapsed, right? It's collapsed. So what you'll see a lot with flat-footed people is you'll see their ankles come in like this. Let me give you a close-up. You'll see their ankles come in like this, right? And so, of course, that travels up to the knees. And with a lot of flat-footed people that, over-pronate, you'll see their knees come in like this too, knock-kneed. Valgus knees is what it's called. And in people with the opposite problem that are maybe over-supinated, so the weight's too far on the outside of their foot all the time, you might see the opposite problem where their knees are actually bow-legged and they come out like this because they're used to carrying the weight on the outside of their feet. So what we're gonna do now is work on being able to pronate and supinate with our feet. We're gonna work on that ability. We're gonna train that function of our feet to go between the two. And as someone who's flat-footed and who usually probably over-pronates, you might think, well, why would we train both of them? Why wouldn't we just train supination? And the reason for that is because we want to train this system dynamically. We want the foot to be able to pronate, just not over-pronate. We want to teach the foot to be able to go into this position, but be able to come out of it as well, right? Because that's what's missing. We're not able to come out of it. We do it too much and we're not able to come out of it. So what we need to train is go into it and then train the ability to come out. And this exercise can actually be useful for people that over-supinate as well. So it's pretty simple conceptually. It's easy. It's not very hard. This is, again, one small notch above setting the arch. It's just that now we're going to train it a little more dynamically. So here's all it is. I'll give you guys a little more of a close-up. You're going to point your feet straight forward, maybe about shoulder width apart. And what you're going to do is you are going to pronate your feet. So bring in your ankles, and you can see how they're coming inward. Bring in your ankles, and with this, it's okay to lift up the outer edge of your feet. You can probably see me doing it here. Lift up the outer edge of your feet to pronate your ankles. You can see how far in they're coming. And when you do this, you should feel tension probably on the outside of your calves, your perineals. So that's the first step. And this, again, is pronation, ankle pronation. And then after that, you're gonna supinate. You're just gonna do just the opposite. And you're gonna move all your weight to the outsides of your feet. And when you do this, you're gonna make sure that you have that good arch set, right? So if you take a look at what we're doing here, by pronating, we're lengthening the tissue on the inside of the arch. And then by supinating, we're shortening it again. So we're taking it through this range of motion where the arch is flattening and lifting. So again, when you put it all together, you're gonna pronate and then supinate. Pronate, supinate. And while you're doing this, pay close attention to any differences that you feel in your feet or that you see in your feet. One foot might be better at doing this than the other. One might have more range of motion, more mobility, or it might feel better on one foot, it might feel more confident on one foot, but just make mental notes of that. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, things to look out for are definitely the knees. So I'm gonna step away a little bit so you can see what I mean. With most people, especially if you have foot problems, flat feet or otherwise, motor control down here in the ankles and the feet is very limited. We're not good at controlling this area of our bodies. Our toes, feet, ankles, they're kind of dead in terms of activation. We don't really know how to get into them. So what you'll see a lot of people do, this is how they'll compensate. If they're not able to pronate and supinate well at the ankles, they'll compensate by using their knees. So instead of starting the movement at the ankles to pronate, for example, instead of starting this movement at the ankles, they'll start it at the knees. So the first thing you'll see is the knees come in instead of the ankles. And so you'll see this kind of movement. Which is taking place, very much so at the knees, as opposed to this. And you can see that there is a little bit of knee movement when you're doing it properly, but it's a result of the ankle movement as opposed to the other way around. You want to initiate the movements at the ankle, and then the knee may move slightly as a result of that. But again, you do not want this. You don't want to be doing this. This is not the goal here. The goal is to limit the movement as much as you can to the ankles. Another close-up. Again, when you pronate, especially if you're flat-footed, you should probably feel some tension along the sides of your calves, your perineals again. And then when you supinate, get a really nice, good arch. Hold it in each position for, again, at least a second. And there it is. So there is the second progression, as it were, in this little series, this little episode. And like I said before, this is right above setting the arch, as you can see, because once you know how to set the arch, now we can work on purposely lengthening and flattening it and bringing ourselves out of that consciously with our own motor control. And so this will also take practice. Hopefully you've actually been practicing setting your arch, and that should be pretty easy by now because I think it's been like at least a week since the last video. So continue setting the arch, doing holds, doing reps, things like that. And then after you do that, so maybe you do, you hold your arch 30 seconds, a minute, and then you do, 20 reps of just setting it, lifting the arch. Then after that, you can add these in, add some of these, pronation, supination exercises after that. And I don't really know what to call them. If you have suggestions for names, you can tell me. Email me at thethadtube@gmail.com. If you have suggestions for naming this exercise. I considered calling it the pro-sup or sup-pro, but those all sound vaguely like ladle products, like soup accessories, like something a chef might buy to help him make a stew or a broth. So not too keen on the pro-sup or the sup-pro, but if you think that's a good idea, let me know. Anyway, go ahead and give that a try. That is also a very easy, very basic way to continue fixing your feet. The only disadvantage to this and some of the other stuff we're gonna be talking about is that you can't really do these in shoes. Ideally, you want to be able to feel what your feet are doing on the ground. And that will definitely help you reinforce more of those good patterns, as opposed to if you try to do this in shoes, you probably wouldn't be able to feel it. All right, so keep on setting the arch. Do these pro-sups or sup-pros. Put in some work, be consistent. Do these every day. You gotta do them every day. Your feet are messed up. Let's just be honest here, okay? If you're flat-footed, your feet are pretty messed up. You could stand to do these every day. Let's not kid around here. Stay tuned. More videos are coming. Go out there and get some #footgains. It's a hashtag that I'm gonna be starting. I have I think 17 subscribers now, so expect to see that trending very soon. I think I'm gonna take over the Twitter sphere with that one. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. I hope you liked the video, and stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you next time.